Hi, how are you? I'm Anthony from Cypher House, and I'm back with some more of the Vehemusical puzzle hunt. That's right, I've completely given up on trying to pronounce this puzzle hunt's name correctly, and now we are ready to move on to the meta puzzle. So without further ado, let's open up Jean Valjean, the meta puzzle. Jean Valjean. Wait, wasn't there supposed to be a 10th performer? Suddenly, the stage manager runs out on stage, frantic. We can't find Jean! Does anyone have his number? The performers returning from their scenes line up on stage and compare their locations to see if they can find him, but everyone has zero luck. The stage manager sighs. It's fine. After all... Alright, I think I'm ready to submit my answer. The end of that sentence is clearly the show must go on. Incorrect. It was worth a try. So, in general, the flavor texts for these puzzles have been filled with clues. So I assume nearly everything here is important in some way. We should also remember that we have all of these previous answers to other puzzles. Ironbound, Ford Theater, Worlds of Fun, The Dairy Godmother, Ghost Runners, Open Minds Early, King of Blades, Fortress of Fear, and Camden Yards. Okay, so I'm seeing that Jean Valjean is a Les Mis character, so possibly this has something to do with Les Mis, or rather that's the reference for sure. Maybe we need to use something from Les Mis in order to solve the puzzle. The performers return from their scenes, line up on stage, and compare their locations. Well, we have a stage lineup here, somewhat. It's not quite the same order that the puzzles were presented in. So, I don't know, I'm gonna try ordering them based on this particular ordering. We'll see if that works. Zero luck is a weird phrase. Normally I feel like we would say they have no luck. Was the number 1 used anywhere? Is this like a binary? Every one has zero luck. So it definitely feels a little bit like we might be doing something with binary here. Do each of our answers have a unique number of letters, maybe? That might be a different way to order them. No, they're not unique lengths. Camden Yards and Worlds of Fun are both 11 letters, for example. I've just looked through several of the songs that Jean Valjean sings in Les Mis, just because the flavor text says we need to find his number. I was thinking maybe it was a musical number. Well, this might be something. I'm not sure. When I look at all my answers, I have 2 that have an F in the first position. As a matter of fact, they have an O in the second position as well. I was wondering if this had something to do with, like, if we put them in a certain order, maybe like the first 2 would have the same first letter, then the next 2 would have the same second letter, something like that. That could be what the flavor text meant by comparing their locations. But that doesn't seem to be right. As early as the 5th letter, it looks like we don't have any commonalities between any of our answers, so it's not that. It's got to be something else. Is there a chance that, like, for each of our answers, we just compare whether the letters are part of the word Jean? I-R-O, and then N is a letter of Jean, and then B-O-U-N-D? Is that possible? That's apparently 34. Is that an ASCII thing? 34 is quotation marks in ASCII. So that doesn't feel like a thing. This just isn't feeling quite right. Oh wait, there's actually a song called Valjean's Soliloquy. This one didn't come up in my earlier search for some reason. Wait a minute. The line, "They gave me a number and they murdered Valjean." I haven't seen Les Mis, but when I was reading through one of the other lyrics, he said a number at the end of it. So I'm guessing he was either arrested and this is like his prisoner number or something. What if I look up Valjean number? Because I think I saw it earlier. He's prisoner 24601. That has to be what it means by does anyone have his number? So what are we doing with 24601? This is a 5-digit number, so if we could somehow get binary from 24601, my immediate inclination is to try indexing each of our answers, like take the second, fourth, sixth, and first letters, but the zero makes it tricky. What are we doing with a 0 here? Okay, I just dug out my footage from the very first Vehemusical puzzle hunt video that I made. I don't remember if it made it into the actual video, but while I was recording that section, I said this about the scripts that came at the beginning of each puzzle. These are fun little story sections meant to give you info about when and where this puzzle is happening and to immerse you in the story. A puzzle's script section contains no clues for the said puzzle and will not be necessary to solve said puzzle. Okay, so they're probably not used at all. It doesn't clarify for sure that these won't be used in the meta, but I think we can be pretty confident that that's not the intent as to why they're there. I'm no longer super confident that that's the intent for why they're there. Mostly because the meta puzzle mentions the performers returning from their scenes. And I just clicked through all of the puzzles. Every single puzzle has exactly one performer who's been listed in this script. You know, if there was one of these that had 2 performers, I would probably immediately rule this out. But there's exactly one performer in every single puzzle, other than you, who's just there. So I don't know anymore if this is something that I should be using or not. I note that this one in particular is very close to Jean. We also had Jack. Joe Hardy has a lot of letters in common with Jean. I don't know, do I need to use those? I also realized that in my earlier recording I was bigger, so let's be bigger. I feel like it would be bad form to have a whole section of the FAQ clarifying that these aren't used in their specific puzzle if it was then going to be a gotcha that it gets used in the meta. I don't think that's what they've done here, so I'm going to continue to assume that the characters are not important for the meta. Maybe I need to write the number 24601 in binary. Maybe I've been doing it backwards. 24601 in binary is this. Okay, so it's not super clear to me how to line up our binary with our answers, but if we were to do it this way, does that seem to give us anything? Well, I've been staring at this one for over an hour now. I feel like the only progress that I'm fairly confident is actually progress is finding Valjean's number. I'm almost certain that that has something to do with whatever I'm supposed to be doing as the next step. I can't for the life of me figure out what that next step is supposed to be, though. So, as much as I don't want to look at the solutions, I don't really have any other option. Alright, let's go to view the solutions. I'm gonna, like I've done in the past, I'm gonna zoom way in, and I'm gonna try my best not to see more than I have to. To begin with, we need to figure out what connects these seemingly disparate answers. 2 of them might catch our eye immediately. I've been staring at them for over an hour, and none of them have caught my eye. In what way are they supposed to catch my eye? I suppose, okay, is it Blade Runners? Isn't that a movie? Blade Runner is a movie. It's not plural. If that is the pairing that's supposed to immediately catch my eye, it makes me feel like I'm supposed to order these clues maybe in like a word ladder. Or maybe this is where we use the first word. Ghost worlds. Ghost fortress. Ghost iron. Alright, I don't even know if those are the 2 that are supposed to catch my eye, so let's see if they are. Camden Yards and Ford's Theater. So Camden Yards was a ballpark in Baltimore, Maryland, and Ford's Theater's in Washington, D.C. That's where Abraham Lincoln was shot. So they're relatively famous real-world locations, and the meta flavor text says that the performers compare their locations. Okay, it turns out the Dairy Godmother is a real place in Virginia. It's an ice cream shop. King of Blades is a barber shop in New York. I suppose that makes sense. I guess now that I know that I'm dealing with places, maybe 24601 is like an area code? 24601 is a zip code in Tazewell County, Virginia. So is it possible that all of these places are actual places within this zip code? That feels unlikely. It looks like a very remote place. Like, I'm seeing a total of 1 road, and it's not even in this zip code. The road is the boundary of the zip code. So Ghost Runners is, among other things, a brewery and kitchen, Vancouver, Washington. Am I supposed to... This is 98661. If I compare that to Valjean's number, they have a common 6. So does that mean that I take the 6th letter of Ghost Runners, maybe? That would give me an R. So where is Camden Yards again? What's the zip code? Camden Yards is at 21201. So they have the 0 and the 1 in common. Would I perhaps only need the 1 because you can't index 0? Ironbound Farm seems to be something in Ashbury, New Jersey, 08802. Okay, well the only thing that matches is the 0. So I don't think I'm doing it quite right yet, but I think I'm getting closer to being on the right path. Additionally, the flavor text draws attention to how the performers are lined up on the stage. We've seen this, of course. We've been looking at it the whole time on the Hunt's main page. Okay, so I was right about the ordering. We may have also noticed that, curiously, each puzzle's name is 2 words. Here are the puzzle titles as seen in the round art. Ah, are they states? Yeah, Ford's Theaters in D.C. Okay, so this is meant to specify the state for each of these locations. Alright, I'm going to use that to try to get the locations of each of these. Well, Ironbound, the zip code that I was using before was in New Jersey, so I need to find one in California. Okay, so when I search for Ironbound in California, the first thing that comes up is Ironbound Bay, which has a zip code of 90704. But I also found an Ironbound Logistics on the first page of Google, which also has a California address. So, kind of still hard to know what we're talking about, because multiple different things can name themselves the same things. Looking closely at the puzzle titles, we can realize that they can be abbreviated to match the states our answers have been found in. In addition to giving us an order, this allows us to resolve our uncertain locations. By Googling the names alongside the given state, we can find a unique list of locations. As an additional solving aid, each puzzle's script section is set in the correct location for its answer. Hold on. Now, when they say script section, do they mean do they mean that thing that they said didn't have anything to do with any puzzles earlier? Conducting Alloy's script is set in a restaurant. So, Ironbound isn't this bay, and it's also not this logistics company. Alright, so we actually need Ironbound Restaurant in California. There's an Ironbound Restaurant and Inn, not in California. Hold on, am I missing something here? I feel like I'm doing something wrong, because conducting alloys, the puzzle's answer was Ironbound. I'm not finding an Ironbound restaurant in California. Ironbound is a restaurant in Maine. So, conducting alloys, the script is set in a restaurant, which clues that Ironbound is in a restaurant. Ironbound is in Maine, which is minor errors initials. So we're not even associating these puzzles with their answers. We're swapping titles and puzzle answers. Okay, I think I finally found the the Ironbound restaurant that I'm supposed to be using for this puzzle. Ironbound in Maine, with this zip code, and so 04640. That matches 2 digits from Valjean. So maybe that's where I'm supposed to now be using binary zeros and ones to get a binary letter. So I'm going to close out of the solutions and just try to work my way through what's going on here. I need to split my answers from the puzzle names. Ironbound goes with minor errors, which is there, because Ironbound's restaurant is at 04640, and so if we binary that with Valjean's number, we would get 0 because the first digit doesn't match, 1 1 because the 4 and the 6 match, and then 0 0 because the next 2 digits don't. Then I can convert that 5-bit binary to a normal decimal number, which is 12 in this case. And I can even convert that number into a letter of the alphabet. The 12th letter of the alphabet is an L. Camden Yard's zip code appears to be 21201, and that's located in Maryland. Ford's Theater is in DC, and it has a zip code of 20004. Okay, Fortress of Fear is a Scream Park in Ohio, and Occupational Hazard is matching Ohio in terms of initials, so that might be right. Okay, so what is Fortress of Fear's zip code? 44601. And so we get 0 1 1 1 1. All right, what about, let's go back to the Dairy Godmother. This is a frozen custard shop in Virginia, and we have vocal artistry, so I'm hoping Dairy Godmother goes there. Ghost Runner was a brewery and kitchen in Washington. We have Wax and Aromas, so I'm going to put Ghost Runner up there. Worlds of Fun is in Missouri. All right, what's Open Minds Early? It's a school in Oakland, California. Lastly, I'm hoping I can find a King of Blades barbershop in Florida. Here it is, King of Blades barbershop in Tampa, Florida. Vehemusical. All right, well, that doesn't seem quite right. Okay, I think what I've done is right. I think my ordering is just wrong. Even though we were supposed to use these puzzle titles to order our final answers, and even though these puzzle titles are supposed to be used as states, I don't think we're supposed to order the states in this order. I think we're instead supposed to take the answer associated with the puzzle conducting alloys and do that one first. So that was not the one that's in California, but the one that has Ironbound. I think that one goes first. And then next we have Mating Obligations, whose answer was Ghost Runners. So we put this one up here. Then we have Waxen Aromas, whose answer is Camden Yards. Then we have Fast Lane, whose answer was Worlds of Fun, so that goes here. I liked this at first because it started with Les, like Les Mis. Now it seems we're going a little bit off track. We have Minor Errors, which is Open Minds Early. Les H. S'more? I think it's supposed to be some pun on less is more. I think that H should probably just be an I. Here I have a 64161. So that is just a typo on my part. That gets us a 1 here. So less is more, spelled L-E-S like Les Mis. Less is more is correct. So I want to emphasize that I know it's very challenging to make puzzles that are going to just work for everybody, and I'm sympathetic to that, and I definitely want to congratulate the creators of this hunt for putting together a fun and overall entertaining hunt. I feel like it wouldn't be completely honest of me to not comment on a couple things that I feel like don't really work in this meta puzzle. I feel like there's not enough hints in the flavor text that indicate that these are all real places. 2 of them are places that potentially people will recognize, but that's, in my opinion, not enough to break through all of the haze of the different things people could try and to get them to hone in on the idea that this is actually the route that they're supposed to explore and to keep going in. I have no idea why the states don't match the puzzle answers. That feels like a very easy thing that just could have been done properly. And I admit I'm pretty miffed that the FAQ tells us the scripts aren't important and then the scripts turn out to be important. I get that what was in the scripts wasn't really like the most necessary thing for a puzzle. It was more additional confirmation than something that was intended to actually help people get to the right answer on the puzzle. But I feel like if there's any puzzle content in something at all, even if it's just extra confirmation, you probably shouldn't tell people in the FAQ that it's not part of the puzzles. And I get, like I said in that original video several weeks ago, I get that it doesn't actually specify the scripts aren't used in the meta, but I think maybe just don't talk about the scripts not being an important puzzle component then. I feel a little bit bad, like I don't like belaboring puzzles that just didn't hit for me personally, because I know that they probably hit for a bunch of other people who had a great time with the puzzle, had great aha moments, and found everything they needed. Unfortunately, I can't really get around talking about this one because it's the meta puzzle. It's like the last puzzle of the hunt. It's supposed to tie everything together. So I feel like I need to give my final impression of it, and that is what it is. It just didn't work for me. Like I said, hopefully and probably it worked for a lot of other people. My thoughts about the meta aside, that doesn't take away from the fact that there are several great puzzles in this puzzle hunt. Puzzles that I really enjoyed, puzzles that I brought a friend on to enjoy with me for a couple videos. Thanks again to Grace for joining me for those videos. And thanks again to the Vehemence team for putting together this puzzle hunt. I really did have a great time with it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about this puzzle hunt down in the comments section below. Let me know your favorite puzzle of the hunt. I think mine personally was probably Wax and Aromas. I had a really fun time with Wax and Aromas. I got a great laugh out of it. Once again, thanks to everybody who helped put this puzzle hunt together in some form or another. You are all superstars. I genuinely hope that you all continue putting out fun puzzles and puzzle experiences for people. I'd be very excited to check out more in the future. But that's it for me today and for the Vehemusical. Until next time, everybody, I hope that you have a great day, and as always, happy escaping.